forest is. All right, we are live. Let's go. Another day, another live stream. I feel like I've been live pretty decently at this point. Wow, none. Oh, hey guys, how you guys doing? Unhinged? Sound? How's your day going so far? Or how was your day? I think you're both in the States, so how was your day, guys? Oh, wait, Sound, are you from France? Yes, you're from a small town in France. Yes, you are from France. How was your day, Sound? Any violent uprisings? My audio is off. Interesting. That's fucking great. Fuck. This motherfucker. No. Sound, you can't. Okay. Thank you. Sound, seriously, if you weren't here, I would have gone fucking insane. Okay, Unhinged. You can't do that to me until there's like 3 or 4 people in chat, okay? If it's just you and one more guy, I don't fucking know who to believe, okay? You got, like, once there's a couple of people so I can figure out that you're bullshitting me, it's all good. But fuck, dude, you can't do that to me off the bat. Oh, Kami is French. So you are from the States? Fuck, I'm gonna have to start writing this down somewhere, because I should know this, and then I forget. No, Devil. I did not watch WWE today. Today was my last full day of classes. And my Mondays have just been dog shit this semester, so I didn't see much. How is it? You're still at work. Excuse me? What time is it in France? It's 3 a.m. there, no? How are you? You're working the graveyard shift? DSV, Milos, how you guys doing? World. Okay, that's something. So it's for fuck's sakes. The John Cena segment was pretty good. I think the Mania season has been overall pretty mid. That sounds about right. Once again, you're not French. Hi. I'm going insane. I'm so sorry, Sam. Sorry. Okay. So since you're from the States, you're probably within an hour ahead or hour behind me. So 10. Okay. So still a late shift, but not the graveyard. Okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I promise I will remember now. That was bad. Okay. I was doing my computer science revision, so I didn't pay too much attention outside the Cena segment. Ah, okay. He's an honorary French. Yes. Yes. Apologies. Managed to get. Okay. Yes. So DSV, you're French. Bro, it's like 3 a.m. now, no? Like, how are you awake? What is your sleep schedule? You're an honorary dumbass. Alright, God, I love this place. Okay, what the fuck is this word? B-O-T... Botch? Oh, okay. B-O... Excuse me, what is happening? What is this word? It's too. Yes, your sleep schedule is fucked. Yes. So how was your day today, DSV? Any more violent uprisings in France? I know your political state there is not has not been great for like the past year or so. And the last thing I saw regarding France was the Tesla shit that was happening, where they were burning down entire fucking entire fucking dealerships. Crimes against tea would make me British at least. Yes, the what was that thing in the States where they dumped a whole like millions of dollars worth of tea into the Boston Harbor or whatever? There's a name. There's a name for it. I think it was Boston. What is this word? I'm just. I don't know. What is this? Booty. Okay, I would not have gotten that, bro. Boston Tea Party. Yes. Oh, Devil, you got that. Good shit, man. Fuck. I would not have gotten that. Alright, it's gonna be like 2 more minutes and then we're gonna get started, guys. I'm just gonna quickly fuck up connections really quickly and then we'll get to it. The Boston Tea Party. Yes. Booty. Yes. You got it. I wouldn't have, even if I read your chat in time, I wouldn't have input it just on Fairgrounds. It doesn't feel fair for me to do that. Deposit, put away, transfer. Excuse me? Dang, I missed a good opportunity to tell him something else. That tea would have been trash anyway, though. Still, for months of travel overseas? Do you think so? I don't. I would have thought it would have been like dry in like wooden crates or whatever. So, plus, isn't that how they generally transported tea over? I don't fucking know. I'm just asking questions, by the way. Took in. Okay, hold on. So, okay, bank stuff. Deposit, balance, withdrawal, transfer. Bank terms. Ah. Apparently the... Yeah, I did see that, Milos, but I think that's April Fool's. I was on the Reddit and I saw that post, and I think that's April Fool's, because even if it is, it seems extraordinary to me that they would have the entire season's, like even the finale animated beforehand. That I don't think that's how they. I mean, maybe like in China they schedule their stuff differently, so it's possible. But I don't think that's how that is done. I know for like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, the big thing was like season 2 would be like hours before it was airing, it would get finished. That shit was fucked. So it's sad that US is putting tariffs on anime now. How does that? Well, I guess they're putting it on imports, but did he say anything about Japan too? Did he? US tariffs Japan? Yes, I did see this. That is terrifying. Trump hits. Oh, stop! Okay, that's auto parts, but that's not great still. Fuck. Okay, you know what? We'll worry about that later. Fuck him. One senator on the left of the political spectrum bragged that his Iranian grandpa helped deporting. wait, DSV, that was a thing someone said. Yeah, fuck you, Unhinged. I was like, how do you? I was like, I mean, I guess if he said anything from Japan, that would include that, but that was wild. Okay, sorry, I have to read that one more time, DSV. One senator on the left bragged that his Iranian grandpa Bro, you gotta get him out of the out of your Senate. Stop. That is some full on Anne Frank shit there. What the fuck, dude? Okay. Chapter 111, Letting Slip. Sometime later, the lecturer, who had relatively high cheekbones, walked up the wooden podium, cleared his throat, and said, "Good morning, kind charitable ladies. I am Xaviera Hedda. What I'm about to share with you today are my experiences in managing family expenses. There are three parts. The first being with how a family with an annual income of £100 should balance food, housing, clothing, and employing helpers. The second would be where a family earning £200 yearly should be increasing their expenditure to appear more decent." Okay. They still press tea into bricks and cake depending on the variety. If you drink, fuck it. If I'm trying to pronounce that, for example, it'll pretty much always come in cakes or bricks. Interesting. Imagine the. Oh, that would that would be rough, Milos. 'Cause they did that in Japan, right? Where they no, not Japan, China, I think, where they made the blood white, and fuck, that made it look so much worse on me. Um, Yeah, French politics is nuts. Shit gets bad enough, you just start beheading people. It's the fucking, it's the end game. Wait, curious. What is Klein's salary would now be? I think it's £6 a week, right? So, £300. Okay, so that'd be like, if they're saying like £100 is the starting area for like a middle class family, then they're making good money. Good shit. It's already over £200, she thought, half in relief and half in fear. She was relieved and satisfied with her current life, but was also afraid that this way of life would vanish in the blink of an eye. At this point, the wine-red-haired Selena covered her mouth. She told her friends quietly, "She seems to be a believer of the Lord of Storms. She's wearing a windstorm badge." Melissa looked over at Xaviera and wearing a badge depicting violent winds and tumultuous waves on her left chest. She quickly explained, "Mrs. Shoud, who told me about the seminar, is also a follower of the Lord of Storms. I don't think it's strange that the speaker is a follower too." "Yeah, I don't think there is a problem here. We are here to learn how to budget," Elizabeth concurred with Melissa. "But other than Melissa, we don't need to. Nor do we have the right to govern our family finances," Selena pouted. Elizabeth rebutted with hesitation, "But we'll get married eventually and form our own families." Selena had been a little afraid of Elizabeth after the incident of the demon mirror divination. She nodded in embarrassment and pretended to listen to the lecturer attentively. The lecturer, Xaviera, raised her right hand and said, "The premise of any form of budgeting is to respect the opinion of the man of the household." Whoa, that is some, that's some Victorian era shit there. They're the source of income, the pillar of the house. They face anxiety, stress, troubles, and disorder in society in order to obtain everything for us. Thus, we have to create a serene home, one free from troubles from the outside. This will allow them to relax when they come home, allowing their souls to be cleansed, allow them to be more prepared for the challenges to come. So as the famous philosopher, sociologist, humanities scholar, and economist Mr. Loomy once said, "A woman is the angel of the household." Selena stroked her cheek and traced her dimples as she whispered with a little excitement, "Loomy, the person who said that humans are born free?" Elizabeth hesitated before answering, "Yes, but he is a believer of the Lord of Storms." At that point, the lecturer, Xaviera, continued, "Mr. Loomy also informed that females are innately flawed when it comes to intelligence and logic." Dude, I feel like I'm gonna get fucking, I'm gonna get hit with some shit just for reading this. This is nuts. Okay. In that case, unable to judge for themselves whether they should accept the judgment of father and husband as that of the church, Miss Selena and Elizabeth looked at each other speechless after hearing such a description. "Let's go," Selena finally suggested. Melissa and Elizabeth nodded. "All right." Thank fucking God I don't have to read any more of that. They took their veiled hats. Unhinged, no. Stop. No, please. I'm so glad this is on the screen and I'm reading it while it's on screen, or I would have been fucked. Fucking 5 years from now, and that's gonna come out and just go, oh. Uh, oh. They took their veiled hats and bent over, sneaking over to the side door in an attempt to leave without attracting any attention. But when they cautiously arrived outside, they could finally stand up straight. They suddenly heard a burst of applause coming from the small hall. Melissa instinctively looked back inside the hall. She saw Mrs. Shoud as well as many other ladies clapping. Phew, praise the lady, Melissa exhaled. She left the uncomfortable place together with Selena and Elizabeth. Shall we go to Harrod's? Selena suggested as she stood under a tree. She had already forgotten about what had just happened. Yeah, exactly. Old comments resurfaced, like, holy fuck. Melissa fell silent for a few seconds before saying, I plan on returning home to study. Study? Selena fiddled with her wine-red hair as she returned to her regular life. Also, I have to buy bread, beef, potatoes, and fruits. Klein needs to work today. Benson went to the municipal library, so yeah, I have to go back. Melissa realized how much she loved her textbooks, her gears, and springs. Gonna crop out the text? That's like 60% of the fuck. I know, you know what? I'm not tempting you out. I'm not tempting you, man. Just leave me. Just leave me be, for God's sake. Selena decided to keep her distance from the unusually weird Melissa. She turned to look at Elizabeth and smiled dutifully. Shall we go to Harrod's together? Even though I've spent all of my savings, it's still wonderful to window shop. Sure, Elizabeth accepted the suggestion, then casually asked Melissa, does your brother Klein have to work on Sundays? Yes, he rests on Mondays, different from ordinary jobs. Melissa unknowingly raised her head slightly. After leaving the Blackthorn Security Company, Klein took a public carriage to Howe Street. Just zoom in on his face. Sound, why are you giving him ideas? What the fuck, dude? I thought we were friends. What, is it because I called you French 4 times? What, that's all it takes? God. Devil, I'm not gonna say it again because I'm gonna get fucked here. Oh, never mind. Miles has got it. After leaving the Blackthorn Security Company, Klein took a public carriage to Howe Street. He tried his hardest to suppress his emotions, to not think about the issue of the indigenous family treasure. He tried to focus his attention back onto the matter of acting. It was important to fully digest the potion as soon as possible. Improving himself was extremely important no matter when it was. Acting as a seer. I'm not professional enough. The fortune tellers back at the Foodaholic Empire had to go through the almanac all the time before they accomplished anything. Klein held his cane as he sat inside a carriage. He decided to divine if it was beneficial for him to travel to the Divination Club today. That was more befitting a seer. I can't look at unhinged antics the same since finding out he's a military man. Just imagine this jack dude in camo gear. Hold on. I have a meme for this. I'm too good. Another one for the scoreboard. Oh. Wait, hold on. Where was I? As he was getting off the carriage, Klein took out a halfpence coin. His field of vision narrowed. His pupils became darker as he suddenly recited, "Is it suitable to head to the Divination Club today?" It is suitable to head to the Divination Club today. That's the exact image. Yeah, nice. Yes. Dang, Klein flicked the coin up. He didn't look at the rotation of the coin, calmly extending his hand instead. Thunk, the halfpence landed on the middle of his palm. This time the number half was facing up. With the number facing up, that would mean I would encounter an unfortunate incident at the Divination Club today. Klein thought for a moment before he turned to the opposite side of the street. He waited for the public carriage that was headed for Daffodil Street. He felt more and more like a charlatan. Howe Street at the entrance of Harrod's department store. Selina was just about to enter the building when she suddenly froze and looked to her side. Did something happen? Elizabeth asked, puzzled. That's a typo right there. Selina puffed her cheeks and said, Elizabeth, I thought about my mysticism teacher, Mr. Vincent. He passed away just like that the morning after my birthday. Could it be because I peeked and used secret incantations? I've always felt guilty and uneasy because of this. Besides, I've been rather unlucky recently. So? Elizabeth asked quietly. Selina bit her lips and said, I wish to do a divination at the divination club over there and see if Mr. Vincent's death had anything to do with me. Oh, that would have been a bad event. I can see why. I can't find it. Yeah, no, never mind. Rocking a snazzy Mona Lisa hoodie with graffiti. Nice. All right. From what happened at the birthday banquet, I have this nagging feeling that Elizabeth is hiding something from me. I remember the back of the man in a tuxedo. Can't you divine it? Elizabeth asked in surprise. Selina sighed, imitating her father. I cannot divine it given my current condition. Alright, let's head to the divination club first. Elizabeth agreed to her friend's suggestion. They headed over to the side and made their way to the divination club on the second floor by following the stairs. Hello, good afternoon, Miss Angelica. It's a pleasure meeting you again. How often did Elizabeth come here? What the fuck? Selina gave us a lively greeting at the reception area. Angelica smiled and said, You should have been able to find me here as long as you should be able to find me here as long as you come after lunch. Selina exchanged niceties before lamenting Vincent's death. She then said, I need to have a divination performed. You know the rules of the club. Here are the list of the members willing to do it. It's the weekend, so most of our members are here. Angelica explained like clockwork. Selina and Elizabeth huddled their heads together as they scanned the list of names and descriptions together. I used to just ask for my teacher directly. To think that the club would have this many members willing to do divinations compared to last year. Selina said excitedly. Suddenly she paused for a moment and said, Klein Moretti? Isn't that the name of Melissa's brother? Elizabeth froze. She looked repeatedly at the name Klein Moretti and nodded. That's true. Miss Angelica, is this Klein Moretti around? Selina asked with a sparkle in her eye. Angelica shook her head. My apologies. Mr. Moretti didn't come to the club today. All right, we'll find someone else. Selina didn't mind not seeing the person, but she laughed at her friend. I know that this can't be Melissa's brother, but having seen this name, I naturally thought of a newspaper, a headline worthy of the Intis Press. The Intis Press was created by Emperor Roselle, famous for its attention-grabbing headlines. It was one of the most famous newspapers on the northern continent. So that motherfucker taught them clickbait? Elizabeth asked inattentively, what headline? Selina cleared her throat and said, It is the decay of morals or a problem with society. History graduate actually ends up doing divinations over the weekend to make a living. So it's technically Milosh? Is that closer? Let me know. I come in early. Zen, good to have you. Thanks for joining. Oh, Jin, thanks for joining. How you guys doing today? Roselle truly brings progress. Yes, exactly. What would a society be without clickbait? ASIC's Explanation, Chapter 112. Alright, I promise, by the way, starting from tomorrow, it'll be back to morning streams. Or morning for me, fucking everything for you guys. I don't fucking know. I have my final class tomorrow. I should be back from that pretty early, and then we'll do a stream. Again, I will let you guys know the timings as always. But yeah, okay. Blackland, Empress Borough. Audrey Hall sat on a suspended chair in a windy corner and looked at the flowers that were blooming under the sun. She thought of Forswall's request. According to Viscount Clane, there really was a girl named Geoderecha being impounded at the temporary prison located in the Blackland North Borough. She was charged with grievous assault against a decent gentleman due to a financial conflict. She caused the man to be bedridden, and he might not be able to stand on his feet ever again. Oh, let me know. Did I pronounce your name right, by the way? Regarding that, Ford's explanation was that the gentleman wasn't a nice person, but the head of a gang in Blackland East Borough. He made a living by being a usury. A usury is, I believe, someone who lends money, basically a loan shark. Much nicer word, a much nicer word for it. Then, I believe that is what that is, but I'm gonna, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm gonna confirm. Usury of money lending. Yeah, exactly. Okay. The cause of the incident was when one of the borrowers found that the interest was several times higher than he expected, so much so that it was impossible to return the amount of money even after he bankrupted himself. When his discussion with the gentleman ended fruitless, he found the famous intermediator Geoderecha. I'm just gonna call her Derecha now, hoping that she could persuade the other party to waive the unreasonable portion of the loan. The gentleman didn't respond well to Derecha's attempts at arbitration and even attempted to capture the borrower's wife and children that night. Hence, Derecha switched tactics and chose to use physical means. Accidentally, she caused severe damage to the man. Alright, I have it right from now, Milos. I won't forget it, I promise. Nor will I forget that sound is not French. Viscount Glaint investigated the matter and confirmed that Forswall was telling the truth, that he confirmed that the gangster had lost control of his underlings. Moreover, after a midnight visit by someone, the borrower's debts were waived. A statement was lent to the prosecutor to plead mercy for Derecha. However, an assault case of such severity wasn't dropped even when the victim decided not to pursue a trial. Glaint wished to solve the problem through normal means. He sent people to talk to the lawyers that he was familiar with, but they were only confident of winning a lighter sentence. But it would be very difficult to acquit her from the crimes unless she obtains a medical certification stating that she is mentally incompetent or mentally underdeveloped, Audrey muttered to herself, leaning in support towards her friend's opinion. For's Israel, she's my wife. To her, it was best not to have any relationship with Forswall or Derecha. Ever since the Tarot Club, Audrey felt that she was no longer an innocent and naive young lady. Tomorrow night, there will be a dance at Count Wolf's residence. I should tell Glaint then to act according to the lawyer's suggestion. Audrey nodded slightly as she made a decision. In the Lone Kingdom, lawyers were either barristers or solicitors. The latter didn't need to be involved in court affairs and were responsible for gathering evidence, talking to the parties involved, setting up wills on their client's behalf, supervising property allocation, and providing legal consultation. Of course, they could also represent their clients to attend the most basic magistrate courts and defend simple cases. Yeah, I think that's how I've been saying it. Barristers, on the other hand, were responsible for researching evidence and defending their clients in court. According to the Lone Kingdom's laws, they had to maintain an objective attitude, so they couldn't make direct contact with the litigant. They could only communicate with them through assistants who were solicitors to gain complete understanding of the situation. They were all true law experts who possessed outstanding communication skills and were skilled in debate. The relaxed Audrey observed the colorful flowers outside while hidden in the darkness when she recalled something. medical certification that she was mentally incompetent. Psychiatrist. If the psychology alchemists have grasped acting, does that mean they can be found among psychiatrists? That's a good train of thought. I like it. Audrey felt that her train of thought was on the correct path and her eyes shimmered like a lustrous gemstone. Just then she saw Susie sneak behind the flower bushes to a spot where only the gardener would be able to reach. Bro, if there's anyone who gets acting, it's actually Susie, okay? Susie's gonna fucking get fully digest the potion faster than everyone else. What the? Because I feel like Susie, Audrey, and Klein all got their first potion roughly around the same time, like within a couple of days of each other, I think. So, like, I feel like Susie's gonna be the first one who has that bitch fully digested. What the fuck? Susie, what is she doing? Audrey hid in the shadows and looked in a daze. The golden retriever's sense of smell seemed to be confused by the flowers all around her, that she failed to notice her owner behind her. She opened her mouth and produced sounds that were akin to one exercising of their voice. Then it caused the surrounding air to reverberate into words that were jerky and unmellow. Excuse me? Hello, how are you? Susie's talking? Stop! No! You guys are kidding! Audrey's mouth widened as she completely forgot about the etiquette an elegant young lady should have. She couldn't believe the scene before her and her stiff voice that she just heard. She stood up and asked, Susie, you can talk? When did you learn to talk? The golden retriever jumped in fright as she turned around to look at her owner. She shook her tail nervously and very quickly. She opened and closed her mouth a few times, vibrating the air around her. I don't know how to explain. I'm a dog after all. Upon hearing that, Audrey was at a loss for words. That's so cool! Oh my god. Okay, holy shit. Susie, best girl indeed? What the fuck? Monday morning, Klein followed his plan to revise and consolidate his mysticism knowledge. Then he took the public carriage to Coy University. He wanted to increase his interactions with Mr. Azek and find out exactly what he knew. Mr. Azek, who is a strong beyonder, despite what Romero is trying to convince me of the little shit. I've sent Susie art. Dude, Milosh is so on top of shit, dude. This motherfucker's like, with the art, he like so on top of shit, man. In the 3-story gray building of the history department, Klein and his teacher, Cohen Quinton, chatted for a while and exchanged their information regarding the historical ruins of the main peak of the Hornacis mountain range. Having not learned anything new, he seized the opportunity to enter a house diagonally opposite when his mentor left to handle certain matters. He then walked over to Azek's desk. The lecturer had stayed behind to take care of some matters. Mr. Azek, can I have a chat with you? He asked the man with tan skin, gentle facial features, and the small mole behind the right ear. Why is this so specific, bro? He then took off his hat and bowed. With his eyes that seemed to have seen the vicissitudes of life, Azek tidied his books and replied, Sure, let's take a walk by Coy's banks. All right. Klein held his cane and followed him out of the 3-story gray building. Along the way, they maintained their silence. Neither of them spoke. But when the flowing river water entered their vision, and there were no teachers or students passing by, Azek suddenly stopped in his tracks. He turned his body halfway, faced Klein, and asked, Is there something I can help you with? Klein maintained silent for a long time, thinking of several tactful ways of asking his questions, but he gave up on all of them. Therefore, he spoke frankly and asked directly, Thank you. God, I would hope they would just do this more. Mr. Azek, you are a trustworthy person, a respectful gentleman. I would like to know what it is you see in me, or should I say, what do you know? I'm referring to the previous incident when you said there was something disharmonious in my life. Azek put his cane down aside and then laughed. I never expected you to be so straightforward. I'm quite at a loss how to answer you. To be frank, disharmony in your fate was the only thing I could see. Other than that, what the fuck was that? I don't know any more than you do. Klein hesitated and asked, How could you tell? I don't believe that this was derived from divination. Azek looked sideways towards the Coy River. His intonation was tainted with some bleakness. No, Klein, you don't understand. Divination can reach that kind of level. It only depends on the person doing the divination. Of course, my divination was merely an excuse. Some people are special. They are born with some strange ability. I think I am someone like that. You think? Klein acutely caught the words that the other man used. Yes, I'm not sure if I was born with it. Perhaps the price of my ability is to forget myself, to forget my past, to forget my parents. Isaac's eyes were clouded with melancholy as he looked at the river. What the fuck? Forget the past? Klein was increasingly confused. Forget the past? Isaac smiled without any humor. Before I entered Blackland University's history department, I lost most of my memory. I only remembered my name and some basic knowledge. Luckily, I still had my identification papers, otherwise I probably would have ended up homeless. All these years, I have tried to search for my parents using my identification documents, but I never found anything, even though I could see a corner of fate. Interesting. During my years at the university, I gradually realized that I possess some strange but unique powers, powers that go beyond common sense. Klein attentively listened and asked, Mr. Isaac, why did you lose your memory? No, I mean, did you find out why you lost your memory? He suspected that Mr. Isaac was a member of the School of Life of Thought who had lost their memories, and he might even be a mid-sequence beyonder that held an above-average position. It was a secret organization that had potion sequences for Monster and Soothsayer. I gotta write this down. Monster I knew, but Soothsayer is new, I think. Sequence 9, Soothsayer. It was an organization that was mainly passed down through the master-disciple relationships. Isaac shook his head vigorously. No, it feels like I had just slept. I'd forgotten everything that happened in the past. He walked forward for a few steps with his cane in hand. He spoke as he walked. After I left Blackland, I started dreaming. I dreamed about a lot of strange things. Dreams? Am I good at interpreting dreams? I am good at interpreting dreams. The conversation was entering Klein's domain of expertise as he immediately asked, what kind of dream? Isaac let out a muffled laugh and said, many different kinds of dreams. Sometimes I would have the dream of internals of a dark mausoleum. Interesting. I would dream of ancient coffins with corpses in them. They would have white feathers growing out from their backs. Sometimes I would dream of myself being a knight covered in armor, holding a 3-meter-long spear while charging towards an enemy. Sometimes I dream of myself as a feudal lord, having a rich and fertile fief, with a beautiful wife and 3 children. Sometimes I dream of myself as a tramp, walking on muddy road in the rain, feeling cold and hungry. Sometimes I dream of myself having a daughter, a different daughter than the previous children. She would have long, smooth hair. She enjoyed sitting on the swing that I made. She always asked for sweets from me. Sometimes I dream of myself standing in the gallows, looking towards a dead body hanging up there coldly. Listening to Isaac's ravings like a madman, Klein suddenly realized that he couldn't interpret dreams because of his various dreams symbolized opposite, contradictory things. Isaac retracted his gaze as his voice no longer sounded ethereal. The Phaenopotter Kingdom in the south believes in Mother Earth. The Church of Mother Earth promotes a belief. They believe that every life is a plant absorbing the nutrients from the earth, slowly growing, prospering, and withering. When they wither, these lives fall to the earth and return to Mother's embrace. In the coming year, they grow again. They would blossom, then wither, year after year. Life is as such, one after another. Sometimes I'm very willing to believe in this concept. I believe, because of my uniqueness, I can dream of previous lives, and lives before that. Oh, he's, what's the term for this? Past life progression. Interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard that term, but past life progression refers to, like, gaining the ability to see your past see who you were in past lives if you believe in reincarnation. I only learned about it from Kendrick Lamar's most recent album. He talked about it a decent bit, and then I looked up what it was. At that point, he looked at Klein and said with a sigh, I haven't mentioned any of this to Cohen before. The reason I'm telling you is because I... Azek paused and smiled. I apologize. My description earlier was not precise enough. The disharmony in your fate is not the only thing I could see. I could also see another thing. Klein, you are not an ordinary person anymore. You possess an extraordinary, strange power. One very similar to mine. Okay, so he can tell... Okay, so he's definitely a Beyonder, and he can tell that he's a Beyonder too. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's check out some of the art that Milos sent. Oh, that's so cute. This one is so cute. What the fuck? That's so cute. The glasses. Oh my god. The little pouch. It's so good. This one's pretty good too. That's the collar's nice. Oh, that one is adorable though. What the fuck? That's so good. Oh, that's very nice. Look at that. She's reading a book too. I wish they put in some scribbles in the books though, but still very good nonetheless. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, look at that. Man, these are so cute. Man, I will say these this community has some really good fan art. What the fuck? $113 request. I'm about to send him my mushroom art. I'm sure there's a joke there on Hinged. I'm too uncultured to notice though. Sorry, I'm gonna just give me 1 second. Token had, that was a thing too. Ah, I know him too. I know I'm one away. Fuck. Oh, fuck him. If you think this fan art is cool, wait till you read more and get to see real peak. Ooh, that's cool. Well, the good thing is now that I've hit like over more than 100 chapters. No, it's not a joke. It's mushroom art. Okay. I still don't trust you, but fine. Now that I've hit like more than 100 chapters, it at least feels like a respectable chapter to be on, like given that there's 1,400 fucking chapters in the first book. Oh man. Mr. Azek can tell that I'm a Beyonder. His ability is truly powerful. Klein froze for a moment before he gave an honest reply. Yes. He thought for a while before adding, because of what happened to Welch and Naya, it's as I thought, Azek sighed. There were two people with extraordinary powers amongst the group of police that came to question me and Cohen. It was probably Leonard and the captain. They were in charge of Welch's case. Klein nodded slightly, not interrupting Azek. Azek raised his cane and said, You should have entered the circle. I hope that you can help me search for clues of my origin. You do not need to go out of your way to do it. Just note it down if you find any clues. People have basically drawn their own manhwa for some of the later fights? What? That's nuts. Oh, by the way, if while I'm just reading the next little bit, I'm making a video on anime that or manga that you thought were really transformative in your lives. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions or have anything like that. The ones I have, at least yet, are Vinland Saga, The Climber, and Vagabond. And Milos recommended Parasite. I'm just rewatching Parasite because I I liked Parasite, and I feel like everyone I've ever talked to liked Parasite, but I don't recall it being that transformative. It was like a solid 8 good anime recommended to someone. I don't recall it being that impactful to me though. So I'm halfway through it today, Milos. I'll finish it tomorrow. So yeah, let me know if you guys have anything like that. Just a quick thing. Um, Upon saying that, Isaac wore a bitter smile. I don't know any other person with extraordinary powers. You cannot imagine what emotions a man without a past has. You were like a boat floating in a vast ocean. The most terrifying thing is not facing a storm, not being able to find a harbor, the inability to navigate to shore. All you can do is take on disaster after disaster with no end in sight, never to feel peace or safety. No, Mr. Isaac, I know how you feel, for I am in a similar position. Fortunately for me, I have the memory fragments of the original Klein, as well as Melissa and Benson. Klein answered silently before he asked, Mr. Isaac, why didn't you join a similar group when you possess such magical ability and search for clues yourself? Isaac looked into Klein's eyes and let out a self-deprecating smile. Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of death. He sighed and continued, I've gotten used to a life like this. I like my life. I don't have the courage to take that risk. So I can count on you. Klein didn't say any more. He promised, I'll pay special attention if I come across any clues. All right, we should return to the office. Let's have lunch together. With Cohen when he's done with work. Do you remember the East Balam restaurant in the university is quite good? My treat. Isaac lifted his cane and pointed to a direction. My apologies, I really have no memories of that. How could the studying original Klein have afforded the Beast Balam restaurant? Even if Welch was treating, he would still reject going on to such an expensive place. Klein pressed on his hat and returned to the third level of the grayish stone building which housed the history department with Isaac. A few steps later, Isaac suddenly spoke. I'll be on a summer break after I finish settling all of my work at the university. You can visit me at my house or write to me. Klein nodded and casually said, Mr. Isaac, I thought that you would head to the Desi Bay for a vacation. No, it's too hot in the south right now. I don't like the so-called sunbathing. Look at my skin color. It tans easily. I'd rather head to the Winter County, to the north of the Fasak Empire to ski, sightsee, or hunt seals. Isaac, who had a copper skin tone, smiled as he replied, Me too, Isaac. Me too, buddy. I would too. Klein, who had just joined the Nighthawks, revealed a look of envy. After lunch, Klein returned home and took a nap before beginning his revision and study of charms and amulets. He had hoped to grasp them quickly to create objects that could at least be used in battle and help him. When it was approaching 3 in the afternoon, Klein packed his bags and sealed the room with a wall of spirituality. In the majestic divine hall above the gray fog sat a long ancient model table. Klein sat at the seat of honor, his face enveloped by gray fog. Hold on. Wait, where's that? His face enveloped by gray fog. He looked at the still obscured Justice and Hanged Man as they appeared at their designated seats. Is it Monday already? I thought it was Sunday. No, I think it's Monday now. Okay. Miss Justice's emotions don't seem too stable. Worry, unease, and a little lost. Klein observed the only female member of the Tarot Club with his spirit vision. Mushishi. I have not seen Mushishi. One of my friends recommended it to me a couple of years ago. I just never got around to watching it. He said it was really good too, so that might be on the list. How many episodes is Mushishi? Is it 26? Okay. Okay, that might be on there too. Sound. That's a good recommendation because one of my high school friends recommended it to me. I just never got around to seeing it, but he said it was really, really good. Words couldn't describe Audrey Hall's emotions. She was extremely shocked by Susie's sudden speech. This terror meeting is funny. Interesting. Okay. She had imagined a future with herself as a great detective or famous psychologist, bringing her assistant Susie. But if that dog detective Susie bring, but if that dog detective Susie bringing along assistant Miss Audrey, that's so good. Then it would be a little, no, not a little. It would be straight up weird. It leaves me lost. Audrey sat up. She wanted a request from Mr. Fool and Hanged Man's help. That's hilarious. Holy shit. It's like a universe in which Sherlock and Watson are solving cases, but Sherlock is actually a dog, and Watson is still getting shown up on every fucking step. He's like, fuck, dude. Hold on. I couldn't post my art. Mushrooms are banned? Excuse me? I'm not letting you send mushroom art. Milosh, why are you like this? Come on, let the man send his mushrooms. Milosh, you can send the mushrooms. It's fine. Or sorry, Unhinged. You can send the mushrooms. It's fine. Milosh won't delete them this time. She had imagined. No, okay. She swallowed the words as she was about to say it. Let's not flood the art channel. Go to general for yeah. That's fine. You can have the conversation in the general, but you can send some mushroom art. I'm not sure why we have mushroom art, but fuck it. I don't know. I mean, you do you, man. Okay. How should I interact with a pet that can speak? One that has decent intelligence. No. This is the Tarot Club, not an experience sharing on pets. I bet that the good impression that the Hangman and Mr. Fool have of me would shatter if I asked those questions. She doesn't understand the reputation she has in the club, clearly. Because she would ask that and no one would bat an eye. They'd be like, yep, regular Tuesday, no problem. Yes, you can send them. Let's not go overboard, okay? Let's find out. Not too much, Devil. I'm not sure when you left off, but we saw Susie speaking, which is fucking great. We're now in the Tarot Club meeting. Audrey's mind whirled. Finally, she organized her words and said, "Honorable Mr. Fool and Hanged Man, who has helped me all this time? I have a question to ask. What can a pet with beyonder powers do for its owner? In other words, how useful is it?" She had just said her piece when she noticed Mr. Fool and Hanged Man slip into silence. The atmosphere became a little weird. Hey, say something. Don't look at me with those eyes. I didn't do anything. Really, I was asking for a friend. Audrey wanted to burrow into a hole out of shame. She deeply regretted asking that question. Considering that she had previously asked what would happen if an ordinary animal consumed a sequence potion, did she share the potion she formulated with her pet? That seems like something only Miss Justice would do. I feel a little pathetic being the boss of a heretic cult with her as a member. Okay, that seems a little harsh, but whatever. Klein lifted his right hand and propped it against his forehead and pinched it twice without giving an answer. The Hanged Man, Alger Wilson, was silent for nearly 20 seconds before he replied in a strange tone. That depends on what kind of beyonder powers the pet has. For example, if it's a spectator, then it can help you observe or listen in on certain occasions. As you know, most humans are wary of each other, but they would never suspect that a pet would be eavesdropping on them, even if the pet was sitting right at their feet. It makes sense. Father avoids me when discussing important matters with the other nobles, cabinet members, and other ministers. They would often lock the door to them, but if Susie could hide long enough to be locked in with them, then she wouldn't be chased away. Also, many ladies like to interact within private social circles. Audrey had a sparkle in her as she thought many thoughts welled in her mind. Also, since Susie can speak now, she can tell me the contents of the meetings directly. Susie is great. I have to treat you well. I have to teach you proper pronunciation and vocabulary. Yes. Should I teach Susie the aristocratic pronunciation or a more normal Blackland accent? Would other dogs pick up on where Susie's comes from when they interact? Wait, why am I considering this? Susie wouldn't use human language interacting with other dogs? Wait, Mr. Hankman, why did you choose spectator an example? Could you guess what happened? Audrey's expression changed. She regained her posture and smiled. Mr. Fool, I have found another page of Emperor Rozel's diary. I got this from Thor's wall. Great, you have repaid what you owed. Klein replied in a good mood. I'm sorry, but there is not much content on this page of diary. Audrey was conjuring the content she remembered onto the page of goatskin. The piece of goatskin. Klein raised his hand and made the goatskin parchment appear in his palm before saying, That doesn't affect my promise. Furthermore, the parts of the diary you handed me previously had 2 pages. The pages collected by Justice and Hangman were not originals. They were copies by researchers. Some would copy it onto one page for recording purposes, while others kept the original look at the diary for convenience. Klein looked at the few lines of text on the page. December 20th. A new year approaches, but the feedback I receive is making me very confused and troubled. There is no crude oil in this world. There's no crude oil to be found. Oh, he was trying to get them straight into the Industrial Revolution. It just didn't work out. Ah, very cool. That is indeed art of a mushroom. Unhinged. I see that. You weren't kidding. All right. You probably a top 5 anime from that period. Interesting. Have you seen or read Perfect World? Susie the Posh Golden Retriever. I've read a couple hundred chapters several years ago. Can't remember much beside it being above average. Devil, I'm not sure if you were here when I asked, but I'm making a video on anime that changed your perspective in life, or how you interact with things, or how you view yourself. The 3 that I have top of mind that were most impactful for me was Vinland Saga, Vagabond, and The Climber. Milos recommended Parasite, which I'm watching now. Sound recommended Mushishi, which I'm gonna watch. I never actually saw that one. If you have one, let me know. If not, obviously all good. Alright, the standards of a member. I feel like we're flying by today. We're not even an hour in and I'm already 3 chapters in. We're making good timing. Well, to be fair, you didn't let him. I let him. Milos, no? No crude oil. It couldn't be found for some reason, or was there really none available? From the period Emperor Rozel was assassinated till this day, about 150 years have passed, and there are still no traces of crude oil. Klein's pupils constricted as his hand shivered while holding the diary. No crude oil not only meant that the future of internal combustion engines became uncertain, it would also lead to the stage of stagnation in the chemical industry. In other words, Earth's modern industrial age would never transpire here. In short, the development of this world was uncertain to Klein. Interesting. Okay. Well, as long as you have some average on leverage on him, Milos, it's good. You know, keeps him in check. It's good. Checks and balances. You know, as the founding fathers would say. Although he couldn't invent things, he had assumed that he was still at an advantage because he knew a bit of everything and could foresee the direction of technological development. When he saved enough money, he could make a risky investment on an industry that he thought showed promise. Furthermore, he wouldn't put all his eggs into one basket. Klein thought that it was only a matter of time until he could own enormous wealth. By then, he would hire the so-called white gloves as representatives to establish international charity foundations. On the surface, they would provide relief to the poor. In reality, they would be establishing and funding a revolt in order to fight against the higher strata of society and enhance the living standards of people in the lower class. Uh, Vin, I don't know how Vinland Saga turned you into a socialist, nor One Piece. I don't know what Aoashi is. I will put that on the list though. Aoashi. Uh, is Aoashi a fucking soccer anime? How did this affect your political view? Excuse me? That's gotta be a joke, right, Devil? um, okay, if he were to find a method of returning to Earth, he would segregate his property, a third to Benson, a third to Melissa, and a third for his foundation. Reverend in Okay, listen. I've never read Reverend Insanity, Milosh, but I know it's about not a good person, a person who's thing you wanna from my understanding is like sociopathic. Like he just does whatever is most beneficial to him. He's by no means a good person. So I know you're fucking lying, having not even read a single page of it. I structure that weirdly. One Piece is the only one that turned me. How did One Piece? What am I missing? One Piece, like it talks of, like I get that it talks about like the celestial dragons and shit, and I get that, but how does that have to do with you being a socialist? What? Nami loves money. She's my favorite character. I love money. That's such a clear line. Uh, Hold on. However, it was a pity that his perfect vision of the future was instantly half shattered. Luckily, there's still electricity and magnetism in the world. The telegram is a successful example. I should mainly invest in this in the future. Klein settled down and read row by row. Fingyuan is a very caring person to himself, but still, Fingyuan is a true pragmatist, none better. Perhaps. That may be. Again, I haven't read it. I just, from my understanding, he's didn't the CCP stop the fucking novel because it was like, oh, I don't know why they stopped it. I just know that the CCP did. No? December 21st, I'm no longer thinking about crude oil anymore. Upgrading my sequence level is what matters. December 22nd, the filthy environment in the Richo Brox is borough is unacceptable. If I hadn't visited incognito, I might have never known that it still looks the same as when I was young. I want to gather all of my ministers and formulate a capital sewer and public toilet enhancement plan. I have to rectify the people's bad habits. Let them boil hot water for consumption, wash their hands and faces frequently. Don't litter, don't pee and poop everywhere. Use condoms if possible. I thought of what to name this campaign. The Patriotic Health Campaign. I don't know, I watch One Piece like very rarely. Like I'm caught up with the anime, but like ever since I caught up years ago, I just watch it in like spritzes. Like I won't watch it for like months, and then like one weekend I'll watch like 6 months worth of it because it's like 20 episodes or whatever. Um, One Piece socialist? What? maybe, yeah, the Revolutionary Army, maybe. Like, and again, I get, like, I get it's obviously like anti-fascistic and stuff because again, because of the and like inherited titles like the Celestial Dragons and stuff. I never thought of it as socialistic though. Hmm. Um, Hence, the invention of the condom has to be brought forward. There are also masks, paper cups, and others. Yes, even the most primitive version would do. Give it a try. I have to think this world, for they still have rubber trees. December 23rd. Perhaps I should consider that suggestion. Keep a back door for myself outside of the Church of the God of Craftsmanship. For example, I could join that ancient and mysterious organization which influences the world from the shadows. Klein then suddenly realized that there was nothing else at the bottom. His emotions were indiscernible. Indescribable, sorry. Deathwife Demon Venerable. What? These companies also led Cuttlefish to alter. Soul Land. Death Parade. I know that name. I can't remember it. Oh, Death Parade. Yes, Death Parade was very good. Yes, you're right. Emperor Roselle, what was the name of the ancient and mysterious organization that was influencing the world from the shadows? Do I know it? How could you stop here? Why didn't you write more? It's just like when I used to read novels. When I read till the end and realized that the author ended up dropping the novel. Me, every time I think about Vagabond and have a fucking crisis because I want the fucking final arc. Holy shit. And he won't draw it. He fucking won't. In the patriotic health campaign, the Emperor sure knows how to have fun. Fuck you, I don't care. The contents of every time I think of Vagabond, it makes me. When I think about the story of Vagabond, it makes me unbelievably happy and content as a person. When I think about the end, it makes me violently angry. The contents of the diary should have been written after he became the consul of the Intis Republic. He might have already called himself Emperor Caesar. Like that even though Marines have good intentions, the story frames their actions as bad due to the fact that they're forced to carry out the orders of a world that prioritizes the few over the vast majority. But that's not... Yeah, I agree, Devil. On that, I agree totally, but that's not socialistic, that's anti-fascistic. No? Because that doesn't have anything to do with, like... Socialism and capitalism aren't, like... They're more fiscal policies than they are like government well, I guess fiscal policies are government policies. I'm sure there's a better way to phrase this, but like they're not overarching things. They're like monetary policy, capitalism and socialism, but like fascism or like democracy would be like the overarching system under which it runs, right? So I don't pirates in general oftentimes embodied quite a few socialistic and anarchist concepts. Anti-totalitarian. Yes, that's a... Thank you, DSV. That's a good way of putting it. Yes, thank you. Though they... Yes. It hasn't been explicitly... Yes. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, okay. On that we agree, Devil. Like, it might take that form later. I've always seen it as that and not socialistic. But yeah, if you think they're cooking, that's a thing. Fool, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you join us. How was choir? The contents of the diary should have been written after he became... nope, I already read that. I have to read some books when I get back and flip to some historical texts of other countries. I have to see which year the capital sewer and public toilet enhancement plan took place. After his nearly 20 seconds of silence, Klein reined back his thoughts and let the diary in his hands vanish into thin air. You can start your discussion now. Audrey let out a breath of relief and adjusted her state to become a spectator. She faintly smiled and said, I'd like to know if there are any sequence potions named Tribunal or a kind of Beyonder that can go through wooden doors or make locks ineffective. I know about this. Enveloped in a great white fog, Klein was going to reply, but the hanged man answered first. I need you to help me investigate something in return for the answer. Bro, she gave you £1,000. Give her the answer, you bitch. Okay, sorry. To your latest comment, Devil. When you say I just started it, does that mean your journey into socialism or just started One Piece? Because if it's the latter, I want to know where you are so I can spoil the shit out of it for you. No, I'm just kidding. Um, what is it? Audrey asked with interest as well as puzzlement. Alger glanced towards the fool and said, I'd like to know if the king has the intention of taking revenge on the Fasak Empire and launching a new war on the east coast of Balam within this year or before June of next year. The Tarot Club was currently using the Loan language, which was confirmed by the trio's accents at the first gathering. Hence, Alger knew that Miss Justice was a noble in the Lone Kingdom, while he believed that Miss Justice knew that he was alone. As for the fool, Alder believed that his behavior was as alone was merely a disguise that would ease the discussion. Ever since the ritualistic magic began, Alder started using him to address the fool politely. Audrey recalled everything that she had heard from various social events. She nodded confidently. No problem, but I would need sufficient time to be certain. I can wait. Alger smiled and said, with Mr. Fool as a witness, I believe you wouldn't go back on your promise. Audrey looked towards the quiet yet mysterious fool engulfed in grey fog as the corners of her mouth curved upwards. But I think the value of this information is worth more than the questions put together. When you confirm the answer, I'll provide compensation depending on the situation. Alger replied with an answer he prepared beforehand. Miss Justice, Mr. Hanged Man, do you need virtual currency to determine value? Oh, I see. It just started it. I see. I read that incorrectly. I see. No, sorry. I read that as I just started it instead of it just started it. So, my bad. Um, uh, by the way, I don't know how you... I'm going to say something. I don't know how you guys feel about it. If you guys disagree, we can talk about it, but we don't have to argue or anything. But virtual currency, cryptocurrencies, literally fucking dog shit, okay? Like, literal cancer. Klein leaned back while he looked at the two people before him. Audrey relaxed and cheered for herself in his mind. Well done. Audrey, you learned how to negotiate. She was so excited that she nearly broke out of her spectator state. She quickly thought of something and asked, Right, Mr. Hanged Man, did you receive the £1,000? I'm sorry, I'm still sailing. I have yet to return to land. Alger wasn't willing to bring it up. He answered her original question. The Beyonder that can go through wooden doors and foil locks would probably be Sequence 9 Apprentice. Do do I have that written down somewhere? I feel like Apprentice is one I know, but I'm just gonna confirm it's on my list. No. Sequence 9. Yes, Sequence 9 Apprentice, Sequence 8, Sequence 8 Trickmaster. Yes. The Beyonder, the secret organization, the Theosophy Order, has its formula. However, don't ignore the possibility that it was obtained through other channels, such as ancient tombs of the Fourth Epoch. The Theosophy Order, the secret organization that has countless ties to the Demonist sect. Someone tell me what the fuck is happening with Triss. Please, I want to know. Klein rubbed his chin with his finger leisurely. Seeing that Mr. Fool didn't refute what he said, Audrey couldn't help but sigh. If I had found the formula for Apprentice before, I might not have opted for Spectator. The performance was simply outstanding. Alger didn't bother with Miss Justice's remark, but continued his explanation. There's also a sequence potion that is entitled Arbiter. I think you should be familiar with it, because it is the sequence pathway that Augustus and Phaenapotter Kingdom's Castia family has. Of course, the low sequence formulas were used as rewards in ancient times. Some ancient nobles may have received it before. So the Arbiter. I assume that's sequence 9, so I'm just going to write that down. Sequence 9 Arbiter. Phaena Potter Royal Family has it. I am so sorry if you guys can hear that clicking clacking, but I gotta have that, otherwise I'm gonna get lost so quickly. The Augustus family was a royal family of the Lone Kingdom, while the Castilla family was a royal family of the Fainapotter Kingdom. It turns out that the Augustus family are all arbiters. Audrey was enlightened and felt that it cleared up her suspicion. She sighed and thought, "It's no wonder I've always gone through their arrangements. I've always gone along with their arrangements, always uncomfortable, always willing to admit defeat, like I'm never myself when I'm before them. I always thought it was because I was timid. The Arbiter has a convincing charm and considerable authority, as well as outstanding combat ability that can deal with the unexpected." That might be my new favorite then. What the fuck? That's so cool to have. Like for a sequence 9 potion? Fainapotter. Convincing charm and outstanding combat ability. Cool. 100% crypto is a scam. It's not just economics. Capitalism is an economic system, but classical liberalism is an ideology that goes hand in hand with it. The socialism ideology and economic system share a name. Really? What would, okay, in your mind sound, what would be the ideology of socialism? You should still invest in the Hawk Tuah coin. Yes, of course. Listen, would Hawk Tuah girl Haley Welch really scam us? You think someone who got famous 3 days ago because she said Hawk Tuah to a camera would scam us? All that goodwill down the drain? Really? Nah, dude. Alright, Devil. Yeah, let me know whenever, before I go. I just want to say Rogers can go fuck themselves. Wait, what happened with Rogers? Did something happen? Bro, I've been so out of the fucking loop with Canadian politics. Like, so much is happening. What the fuck? Hold on. Is it the NHL deal that you're referencing to? Yeah, if you are, I will have you. I'm not a baseball fan, so I'm at a complete loss if that's the case, by the way. Oh, Rogers was annoying to you. Oh, in that sense. Oh, just in that sense. Oh, they're just, dude, literally, they're, well, because there's two, right? Realistically, there's Rogers and Bell, and so they just fuck off. They're so fucking annoying to deal with. In that sense, I totally get it. We had a power outage in our house a while back, and then our internet didn't come back for like 4 days after, and we were like, and we kept calling, and when we'd call, we'd be on hold for 6 hours at a time. It was like, what in the fuck is this? It was crazy. I get it, yeah. But yeah, whenever you have to head out, feel free. Hope you have a great rest of your night, buddy. I hope to see you tomorrow. I'll probably stream around noon-ish, give or take, for our time, obviously. I'll let everyone else know, obviously, in the Discord when I'm about to stream. Yes. Where was I? Audrey nodded slowly and leaned back, and then she spoke elegantly. "I have no more questions." Alger thought and looked towards the seat of honor at the long bronze table. "Honorable Mr. Fool, I would like to ask if the true creator's holy residence that the Aurora Order advocates is the legendary Forsaken Land of the Gods. Forsaken Land of the Gods? I've only seen that name in the Roselle's diary. It might be in the secret dockets of the Nighthawks, but it isn't something I know of currently. How do you want me to answer that?" Klein nearly twitched. He considered it for a moment and then replied with a calm tone. "That is not something you should know now." Alger felt his heart tighten, and he immediately lowered his head and replied, "Please forgive me for overstepping my bounds." Audrey wanted to ask about the Forsaken Land of the Gods, but she gave up that thought when she heard that. In the lofty divine hall above the grey fog, silence suddenly filled the air. At that moment, Audrey felt that she should say something. "Mr. Fool, if, and I'm saying if, I have the opportunity to join another organization, such as the Alchemists, Psychology Alchemist, is that permitted?" Klein maintained his posture of leaning backwards as he said with a chuckle, "That is no problem. My requirement is that the existence of the Tarot Club is not to be exposed. If you become a member of another organization, the materials and information you can use for exchange will also increase. After saying that, he suddenly recalled that he was a member of another organization. He was a real Nighthawk, while the Hanged Man was most likely related to the Church of the Storm. Would my tarot club be the so-called Rebels Alliance? Traitor Gathering? Klein was drowned in deep thought. I understand now. Audrey was excited, but she immediately thought of a question. Mr. Fool, if I found a suitable gentleman or lady for this gathering, could I guide them to join? How would I do that? Alger thought and asked, Mr. Fool, what is the requirement to be a member of this gathering? How do we determine? Ambitious, ethical, cultured, and disciplined. 4 words popped into Klein's head instantly. He maintained his silence for a few seconds and spoke when Justice and Hangman appeared a little uneasy. You can inform me of people who you find suitable. I will decide if they join us. Before that, you can't give any hints that would cause the secret of the Tarot Club's existence to be exposed. You must remember, to non-gathering members, Klein paused and said in a heavy voice, You must not speak my name without my permission. Motherfucker's Voldemort over here. What the fuck? Chapter 115. Look at that. We're making fucking great time today, man. Alright, we should be done. We should be in like well before 2 hours. Good shit. Which will be good because I have to get up early for a presentation tomorrow. You must not speak my name without my permission. Several minutes after the gathering ended, Audrey and Alger, who had returned to their bedrooms and ships respectively, could still hear the words of the Fool reverberating in their ears. Their impression of the mysterious and powerful Fool was abnormally relaxed, calm, and unfathomable. It was rare that he would adopt such a stern, behaving or looking as though one thinks is superior to others. Supercilious. Because of that, they were exceptionally alarmed. They submitted to his wishes sincerely. There were no strangers to words like that, but these instructions were abnormally recorded within the revelation of the Evernight or the Books of the Storms. Thank the Fool I finished my... Oh, shit! Yeah, how did your speech go, Fool? In the west borough of Tingent City on Daffodil Street, Klein pulled open the curtains and allowed the sunlight to pour into his bedroom. He inspected the star that previously sent out a prayer after Justice and Hanged Man left, but didn't obtain any information this time around. Oh, shit, yeah, no, that sounds good sound. Since the Crimson Star had the ability to store prayers akin to sending offline messages, Klein believed that the youth who spoke Jotun hadn't prayed again for the last 2 times he entered the world above the giant. This made him suspect that there was no hope left for the youth's parents, and that the young man had chosen to give up. With his back facing the sunlight, Klein walked to the edge of his bed and laid down. He didn't want to move. He knew that he shouldn't waste any time and head to the Divination Club and continue his process of digesting the potion. But he didn't want to move. He laid silently on his bed, enjoying his rare break. He had a full schedule from Tuesday to Friday. Mysticism lessons, practicals in the morning, shooting and combat training in the afternoon. He was mentally exhausted by the time evening came around. There was no change in the morning-afternoon on Saturday, but had to guard Chanis Gate in the afternoon. He would have stayed underground until the dawn of Sunday. Sunday morning was the time for Klein to catch up on sleep. In the afternoon, circumstances would determine if he went to the Tarot Club. On Monday morning, he had just returned from Koei University in the morning and had the Tarot Club in the afternoon. He also had to think about the issue of acting as a seer. In other words, he had been busy the entire week with no time to rest. Thus, all Klein wanted to do was laze around, lying on his bed like a loser, not doing anything except daydreaming. Now, how can the boss of a cult be so worthless? If Justice and Hanged Man caught wind of this, their impressions of me would shatter. Klein buried his face into his blanket and motivated himself. Oh wait, so you just handed it in full? You didn't read it? I have the formula for the clown potion. All I need to do now is digest the seer potion. I have the formula to the clown potion. All I need to do is digest the seer potion. He muttered to himself, then propped himself up. He took a bronze coin from his pocket and quickly divined if it was suitable for him to head to the club today and got a divine response. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After that countdown, he forced himself to stand up and walked over to the clothes rack before picking out his suit and hat. In the meeting room of the Divination Club on Howe Street, Klein sat down in a shaded corner and sipped on his side black tea as he read the Tingen City Honest paper. There weren't many members around him, just 6 or 7. Just as he was laughing at the grammatical mistakes used in the job advertisement, he saw a monocled Glasses walk in with a silk top hat in his hand. There was a blue-haired lady in her 30s beside him. The lady had curved eyebrows and large yet dull eyes. In her left hand, she was carrying an Intas hat covered with feathers of a black swan. I didn't have school today. I just had to turn in my speech. Oh, okay. Alright, I guess. Alright, we'll let you get away with that. Still wish you got those extra marks, though. But, alright. That hat is ridiculous. Wouldn't her neck be sore wearing that? Klein noted to himself. He looked over and massaged his glabella, as if alleviating his fatigue. Through his spirit vision, he noticed that Glasses and the lady were both healthy, but they were anxious, angry, and flustered. Good afternoon, Glasses. That Mr. Lanavis wasn't a trustworthy fellow, was he? Klein asked with a smile, remaining seated. Glasses asked him for a divination about investing in Lanavis's steel company. Glasses had obtained a negative suggestion. Aha! But noticing his indecisiveness, Klein believed that he had taken the risk anyway. Klein hoped the man hadn't invested everything he had. Thus, Klein immediately made the association and judgment when he saw the colors of his emotion. Glasses froze for a moment, then let out a bitter smile. I truly regret not listening to the suggestion you divined for me. This is the second time I'm saying something like that. Let's hope. No, I believe that there will not be a third. He turned his head and looked at the lady with some wrinkles. Madame Christina, look. Mr. Moretti had already guessed our motive for coming here without even speaking to us. He is the most magical fortune teller I have ever seen. I am more willing to describe him as a seer. I'm more than willing to describe him as a seer. Good afternoon, Mr. Moretti. We have come here precisely because of Lanavis. Christina gave a simple bow, clearly anxious and flustered. Shall we head to the Topaz? Glasses was more collected. He pointed to the door of the meeting room with his chin. Klein laughed as he got up. That is the job of the fortune teller. I have a solid B in English, so I don't really need to or want to. Wow. You're graduating. Have you applied for colleges or universities, fool? Or, what are your plans? Or are you graduating from college and university? That's a better question. He followed the path to the empty Topaz room. Glasses locked the wooden door and walked to his seat while sighing. Lanavis has gone missing. He gave the excuse of going to the Civilos County to oversee the excavation and left Tingen, never to return. We sent someone to look for him by a steam locomotive and discovered that the large-scale steam mine he spoke of only existed on the map. Luckily for me, I recalled your advice and only invested a third of what I initially intended to invest. I already know where I'm going for university. Okay. Given everything, I figured you were graduating from high school, but then I was like, wait, it's March. I don't know. Again, maybe because your school schedules are different, but in my mind, at least in North America, if you're graduating at this time, it's like, okay, you're graduating from university because I graduate, well, technically I have 2 weeks of exams and my convocation is technically in June, but I graduate basically in 2 weeks because I'm done. So that's what I figured, but then I was like, wait, because of the timing that threw me off. So, okay, but you already have it figured out. You've already gotten your acceptance and everything and all that stuff. That's awesome, dude. You excited? And when does your college or where does your university start? When, not where. What the fuck? I assume you have a couple of months off between now and whenever. Um, Otherwise, I would have lost my family and my life. Clint's pupils were much darker than usual. When he looked at the two people in front of him, he asked, a little curious. Before making such a major financial decision, why didn't you choose a representative and ascertain if whatever he said was true at the Hornaces mountain range in the Silvis County? Christina responded quickly. First day is on August 28th. Oh, dope. Okay, so you got like months. No, yeah, holy shit. All right, we're gonna have a long summer vacation. All right, that'll be fun. Summer break. I forget. Summer break, not vacation. Our representative was fooled by the people Lanavis employed, the place he rented, and the land that was fenced off. Klein didn't question them any further. He maintained his attitude as a seer and asked, "What do you wish to divine today?" "We wish to see if this is salvageable or not." Christina said as she looked at glasses. Klein took a piece of paper and fountain pen, then led us to an astrolabe divination. "I'll ask and you'll answer." Between the questions, Klein marked out the thunderous constellation and the corresponding symbols of various situations before completing the astrolabe. Nice. Yeah, just a part-time job in the summer, I presume? I would also recommend, as much as you can, try to do stuff. Do something. I don't know. Go to the beach. Go do just do something, okay? Don't just, as much as I'm sure you want to, don't sit home and read or watch anime or whatever it is you do. Go out. Promise. It's a lot better. He used more elements in his astrolabe than an ordinary person would have. The method he was going to use to interpret the astrolabe was going to bring him closer to the truth. "Madam, sir, you are now at a crossroad. If you don't restrain yourself and succumb to your greed and anxiety, you will fall further into the abyss, never being able to free yourself. But if you can be patient and wait persistently without being greedy, then there will be an opportunity for you to see the sunlight." Klein said, his tone unhurried. "I understand." Christina nodded. She thought for a moment before saying, "Mr. Moretti, can you divine Mr. Lanavis's whereabouts?" "No, I don't think so. The information Mr. Lanavis gave is most likely fake. Even his name might not be real. How can I divine anything unless you can give me some very specific details or an item he carries with him at all times?" Christina fell silent for a moment before pushing a one-soul-line note towards Klein. "I have heard from Glasses that you are a true seer who is respectful and fearful of fate and not greedy for money. You can think of the rest as tips that I am giving to the club." "Thank you for your confidence in me." She stood up and bade farewell before leaving quickly. "Not greedy for money? No, I'm a materialistic man. This is what I'm thinking of. I'm a materialistic man. Shit. Seeing Christina leave, Glasses closed the door and asked, "Is there really no way?" "I told you the way just now," as he leaned back. Glasses sighed. Lanavis took off with over 10,000 pounds, and his victims totaled over 100 people. Luckily for me, I only lost 50 pounds. Those were my savings and I have no debt. But Miss Christina invested 150. To her, this is not an amount that she can bear easily. "Have you called the police?" Klein suddenly felt anger that towards the cheat after hearing the sum of 10,000 pounds. One could be considered rich even in Blackland with money like that. I don't know if the police would enlist the help of the Nighthawks, mandated punishers, or machinery hive mind for a simple case like this. Klein thought, a little distracted. Glasses nodded and said, "We've already made a police report. The police are paying a lot of attention to the case. After much discussion, we're willing to take out a portion of the money we would get back as a reward. One can get 10 pounds as a reward if they manage to provide clues about Lanavis's whereabouts. If you can give a precise location and help the police catch Lanavis, you can get a reward of 100 pounds. 10 pounds for a clue and 100 to catch Lanavis. Klein's eyes nearly sparkled after he heard that. His breathing became heavy. He happened to be worrying about how he was going to pay the detective in the future. He could barely afford the second phase of the payment with the extra salary of £3 he received this week. But if the private investigator managed to complete the mission next week, he wouldn't have the money to pay off whatever he promised. He would be lacking a few soli, provided that he would need to spend his savings elsewhere this week. Perhaps the police will have some items belonging to Lanovis, but they won't be very useful if he's already left Tingen. Klein felt a mixture of excitement and disappointment. In the next hour and a half, Klein got another 2 customers due to Angelica's recommendation. One was a divination for a 1-year-old toddler. Klein immediately drew the corresponding birth astrolabe and explained it much to the satisfaction of his customer. The other was searching for an item. Klein used tarot reading coupled with dream divination to give a general area. This made the customer very shocked, for he had never seen a fortune teller that could give him accurate information. Perhaps I could obtain just enough funds doing divinations for others. Klein, who had received some tips, put on his hat, held his cane, and walked towards the exit of the club. At that moment, he saw Christina enter the club once more, with a young girl wearing a sun hat beside her. Christina saw Klein and immediately approached him. "Mr. Moretti, you said that you could try divining Lanovis's whereabouts if there was something belonging to him." "That is correct." Christina heaved a sigh of relief. "Then is his child something that belongs to him?" Klein was momentarily a little lost. I mean, I would assume that would probably work. Like, in worlds like this, like The Witcher and stuff, like blood is bound, right? So you can track people with blood connections and stuff. So maybe. All right. Now that we're done all that, I'm just gonna see what Sound put. I don't Sound. I'm assuming you're still here. I'm just gonna check what you put in the Discord really quickly. All right, let's see. All right, never mind. We can talk about it later. All right, I think we will. I think we'll leave it there, guys. Great stream. You're still you're still writing. Okay, got distracted. No worries. Okay, all good. In that case, in that case, I will check it out a little bit later. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or nights for most of you. And we'll talk tomorrow. Sound, if you're here for tomorrow's stream, we'll talk about what you sent in. All right. If not, we'll message on Discord. We'll talk about it. All right. See